Do you have dreams of getting a sick pump and getting jacked and juicy like Jacked and Juicy Joe Angelo Garcia and the King Outlaw Jason Bruce? Then what you need to do is you need to come on down to Advanced Fitness Center, AFC 2221, FM 2280, King, Texas. Come in and get a sick pump. Ask questions. Call 817-506-0003, 817-506-0003. King, Texas, come in and get jacked and juicy like Jacked and Juicy, baby.
All right, everybody, we're back with another one. Your boy WTP back with another episode of the podcast. And I have the unfortunate news to introduce this guy right here in the other box. Don't know how he did it, but he got the NTW management to get him on here, to let him talk about what he wants to talk about.
I'm the boss, baby.
Him and his little weasel lawyer. Like, you all saw what happened. They called me, and after the little video that I posted, they told me all the details. His lawyer got him on here. I guess he was mad about his suspension.
Let's stop now.
All right.
Let's introduce everyone how we should. Now that the boss is legally and rightfully on his podcast, let's do this right.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the boss, Deshon Goode, presents the Oro podcast.
I'm going to be unbiased for a moment. He's right. I'm going to introduce him the right way. Like he said, Deshon Goode, owner and CEO of NTW, leader of Oro, creator of Oro. Before we start, though, before we get into all the stories and everything we got to get into to figure out what's happening within NTW, I'm going to give you a minute to give yourself a proper introduction to everybody. You know, where you're from, how NTW came to be, and what was the thought process to create it. Take it away.
Well, all right, I'll give you Deshon before I be the boss. So I'm here from Dallas, family from here in Mexico. Started NTW going on 3 years ago now. I started the company because as a diehard fan, I loved wrestling. I used to be a pro wrestler. My last professional match was in 2018. I had a decent career as a wrestler from 2012 to 2018. But I felt like what was missing from my time as a wrestler was I felt like talent just really wasn't cared for out there in the scene. You show up at a show, depending on the show, they'll ask you to come out, but the whole night, you're just sitting there twirling your thumbs until someone gives you some direction. Or you're out here busting your butt on the road going up and down, and you're showing up to a show and they think you're supposed to be satisfied with a handshake. Like, come on, man. I realized I had to do something to try to change the industry for talent that want to come in at this level and learn the professionalism, learn the business, learn how to actually grow as a talent and a superstar. And actually, even though we're not WWE, still do stuff from meet and greets to career days to all kinds of events that makes them feel like, okay, I've made it. And then by the time they actually do get that call, whether it's WWE, TNA, or AEW, they already have the groundwork laid for what we're doing in NTW.
I will vouch for everything he just said. I've been going to the shows, and it's actually taken a full circle. Because in June will be 1 year since I've been going to these shows. The first show I went to last year was Game Changer. We're going to talk about that later on. His environment there, whenever I get there, it's always friendly. Family friendly when you get there, all the way till you leave. You know, I met quite a bit of the talent, and I'm still meeting a lot of other guys that are coming back or, you know, making the way from hitting the road for a while already or taking a break. So it's really cool to see that, what you're doing with NTW. And he's being a little modest. He's also a former veteran, from what I understand. Army veteran, was that correct?
Yes, Army.
Operation Oro, he received a plaque just like a lot of the other veterans, Ace Alexander and a few others. And I was like, oh, I didn't know he was a veteran too. But I did know about your short stint as a wrestler. I didn't know the full details of how long your career was. I've just known you as the boss.
So
You know.
before I ever donned the moniker the boss and became this over the top hillish evil boss on screen, I was the icon Deshon, and then I rebranded myself to become the superstar Deshon. And I was this, and the best way to describe my character was like a John Cena esque character. I used to wrestle in my combat boots
Mm.
and in my old school BDU pants because I was the last end of an era, the last person to put on a BDU right when we switched over to ACUs.
Ah, okay.
So
I was
that
gonna
was pretty
say,
cool.
I haven't
But
seen any of these pictures. He doesn't post a lot of pictures of himself.
honestly, it's been because since I've started the company, and don't get me wrong, as much as I have been enjoying portraying the boss character on screen and being back out there with the NTW crowd, and from my company to Hype and Glory out in Texarkana to WWA to APW, it's been nice group in demand. I don't like to
Hold on,
always talk
you're
about it
breaking
too
out
much. I
real
don't like
bad.
to post on me.
You were breaking out real bad right there.
And basically, that's why I don't like guys to talk or I post too much. I just prefer to get them out there.
Okay. You broke out there for a little bit though. Didn't catch a little bit of what you said.
That's what happens when I don't control the podcast.
Man, I think that's why they told you to stop controlling because that signal. It's all good, but well, yeah, you're doing great work with NTW, man. From what I've seen so far, it's been great. The experience there has been great. I love it. I mean, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't be sticking around. but we're gonna get into everything now. So we had our little heart to heart. Now it's time to get down to business and talk all things NTW. Now, like I said, since I've met you back in the last Game Changer, and now we're taking a full circle, a lot has happened within a year. I When I first started going, we had a completely different oral gang, and now back at New Beginnings, we have a new oral gang, the new generation of oral gang. How did that come to be for you to get rid of almost everybody that was part of the old oral gang to bring in a lot of new guys?
Who said I got rid of anyone? You guys just assumed because I had a new generation that I just screwed over everyone else. This sounds like some Chris Hill rhetoric off the gate already, so I feel like he's probably helped you with these questions. Look, man, in case you haven't realized, Red Chambers, original member, world champion, the rightful Texas champion, Devion Black, original member, still here. Big
Mm-hmm.
J, still here. So what are we talking about? All we did was bring in a second generation of young, hungry talent that are just as hungry as we are for championship gold. What's wrong with that?
I mean, in New Beginnings, man, some would say that since, Kane Carter lost and you just up and replaced him with Red Chambers, like not even 2 hours after that happened.
First, let's be clear. Kane Carter is an athlete that is unmatched. He can't be replaced. There's only one Kane Carter. Now, what I did as a very smart businessman and a smart advocate for Oro was I had to sit back and evaluate the situation. Here we have Kane Carter, who was unfortunately taken down by that behemoth suplex Shogun Jackson. He needed time to collect and go back to the drawing board. Kane Carter is a very busy man, but one thing he doesn't do is take L's lightly. So, me being me and being smart, I had to let that man do what he needs to do right now. Where Shogun screwed up is he put his hands on the boss. You don't do that.
Hmm.
So since he wanted to overstep a line, I had to just test to see how much of a champion he was. And outside of him putting his hands on me, he didn't just screw me. Red Chambers was in the middle of a match trying to become United States champion. Shogun ruined that. Red Chambers had every right to face that man. Whether you guys like how we went about it or not, Shogun put himself in that situation. You can thank and blame Shogun for what happened.
Man, I mean, you say you did it one way, we saw another, and if you want to see what he's talking about and judge for yourselves, the entire episode of New Beginnings is actually on the YouTube channel for North Texas Wrestling. I, for one, one of my favorite parts, if you want to fast forward it to the moment where, it's probably like around an hour and 45 minutes around there, where the suplex machine gets him and throws him across the ring. But anyways, we're going to, fast forward from New Beginnings and get straight.
And you saw what happened to him after the fact, right? That's why
We
you
saw
don't
what
touch
happened.
the boss.
I'll give you that. Shogun did put his hands on you, and I'm gonna say it the way you would probably say. You made the example out of him, and Oro showed him why you don't do that. Would that something you would say?
I don't care about these board members, whether it's that hobo Suge White who's harassing me now on behalf of my wife, or my own damn cousin who I put on the board. I put this guy on the board for me, and he shows up and backs my wife. Trust me, this is how my amazing attorney, Jay Teskey Esquire, was quivy enough to get me on here. He's going to easily get that suspension dropped.
We're actually going to talk about your suspension here in a moment. But the little Timu lawyer, I'm not going to say nothing bad about him because I know how he is with lawsuits. So we'll just skip over him for now. Him and his little quick fingers to type out lawsuits. But
you brought it on yourself, man. Everyone keeps painting this picture that I'm some bad guy. How am I the bad guy for telling the truth?
I mean, I don't know how I'm the bad guy. They reached out to me and said, hey, you're a podcaster. We have a podcast not being done.
And just like my attorney told you, you could have saved yourself. And once you accepted it, you should have been like, okay, the right thing to do is for me to have the boss on the program. But what did you do, buddy? You interviewed Chris Hill. You interviewed all these other hobos.
I mean, like I said in the video, they schedule them, I interview them. Here we are. You threatened to sue, voila, here you are. So at New Beginnings, we saw Chris Hill obviously announce a bunch of stuff for the last event we just saw. And then, of course, a lot of the board was backing him up. And towards the end of the night, everything shifted into your favor. Now we get to Battlegrounds, and everything completely changed. Now you're suspended. How did that happen?
Well, clearly, which is why my attorney's on it. They had an illegal board meeting without me there. Apparently, somehow took a vote, and I was voted off the board to be suspended because I wasn't in this meeting. I wasn't aware, which is highly illegal as the owner and chairman of the board and someone who has majority voting power. I don't see how they can have a proxy without me. So, again, that's something for my attorney to handle, and we'll get it situated.
So now the details of your suspension, I'm a little fuzzy on them. Were you suspended all the way until June or September?
To my understanding, it's till September, but again, my attorney will handle it. I have every intention to let my presence be felt in June.
That game changer. And there's a lot of plans already for that event. We are going to be seeing a steel cage match Is that correct?
That is correct. From my understanding, the way it was announced to us while we were in the ring, the hottest event for NTW of the summer, Game Changer, which was one of our biggest events last year. We were told the Evil Twins will have to take on APR inside of a steel cage, as well as Red Chambers has some mystery opponent in a steel cage for his world championship. So Chris Hill up to his usual tactics, but as always, like I have to consistently remind y'all, we will show you time and time again why it's our ring, our world.
Oh man. All right. Before we get into more of the details of what you've been doing since, last week, we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors, Advanced Fitness Center. So we'll be right back and we'll hear more from Deshon.
A lot of people think that you need a fortune to join a gym, but here at Advanced Fitness Center, you get everything you need for $23.99 a month. That means full access to our free weights. Oh, snap. Cardio machines. And overall, it's just a great workout environment, all without breaking the bank. No contracts, no hidden fees, no alarms that goes off when you're lifting too heavy. Just a gym that works for you. So, if you're looking for a place to train that's affordable, AFC is the spot. Come check us out today. I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
And we're back, and that was a great message from the sponsors. Two of those guys was actually in the ring at the last event, Jacked and Juicy. And, of course, the posse came out and attacked them. But we'll hear more about that in a little while. Do you yourself go to Advanced Fitness Center, sir?
Advanced Fitness Center is a great place, but if they got guys like Chance Fortune there, I don't want to be there. I give credit where credit's due. Chance Fortune is an amazing athlete, but to know he got injured, I put a smile on the boss's face because he was an unnecessary pain in the ass to myself in row. The truth is, I don't believe he got injured. I think he's just afraid of Dante Flame, so he just avoided the embarrassment of losing to Dante Flame again and not walking out as cruiserweight champion.
Well, some might say that you were actually spotted at the event where he was injured, and you had something to do with it.
I know nothing. One thing I can tell you, I was at the event, but I don't mess around with Seth Anunnaki. That is a dangerous man. As becoming the advocate Oro, I'd like to move myself and my group strategically. That man, Seth, is a different type of beast.
So you move your team, your crew strategically throughout every promotion you go to?
Of course. That's why we're champions most places we touch down.
I mean, y'all do have quite a bit of gold, but a lot of the gold is missing from NTW. A lot of that is on other people right now. And I know, knowing you as well as I do, you got some plans for the next event to change that, don't you?
Who's to say, man? You never show your hand. My thing is, everyone needs to realize it's been 1 year. 1 year since me and Oro have been doing this. From the first day out the gate, we started winning championship gold. That should have told everyone right there the standard we were setting. We came into this destroying the Step Bros. From Texarkana to Texas, we whooped their asses. GCW Tag Team Gold, Hype and Glory Tag Team Gold, NTW Tag Team Gold, NTW World Champion, NTW United States Champion, NTW Cruiserweight Champion. Hell, we're going to take over the social media championship once Jay Knight gets his hands on that grass snake Ellie Cobra. We've said it from day one. We are about championships. You have to understand it. The fans have to understand it. The world has to understand it. That's what makes us the number one group in this industry right now.
So, you just named a lot of different promotions. Now, last night, May 3rd, you were at another promotion, World Wrestling Alliance,
That's
WWA.
right.
And, yesterday was a shaky day. A lot of, bad stuff was happening. One in particular was your birthday. I suppose happy belated birthday for that. And last night you show up to the event. It was all over social media. Now, I don't know what you were doing there, but after the show, I did see another clip where you were standing with more tag team champions. What was going on there?
Well, since you must know, you want to privy into everything that the boss is doing. I'm pretty sure you're probably watching for the board too. I got to be careful. But if you must know, the Evil Twins is why I was at WWA. They're down there to do what we do best: whoop ass and claim championship gold. So I arrived to support my guys and do what a good advocate would do: sacrifice himself so they can get what they need. And that's exactly what happened. We showed up at WWA, we did what we had to, and my boys are now the number one contenders for the WWA Tag Team Champions.
All right. Now, I didn't get to see the event, but it's good to know that we know who the contenders are. Obviously Brady Brown wasn't too happy to see you there or hear that you were there.
All I can say, once again, I said this earlier, you guys are upset because all I do is tell the truth and you get mad at me. Last night is a good example. I told you guys from day one who Brady Brown was, and you guys didn't want to believe me. And the proof was in the pudding last night.
So,
and since you're so inquiring about what we were doing,
I don't know what's going on with this system, man. It looks like someone's keeping you from trying to get this done. We brought up Brady Brown, and I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's you and the board. You figured you make this as difficult for me as possible. But it's okay. Because of that, now you guys will not know what happened between Oro and the Bad Boys of Wrestling. But stay tuned.
Man. But let me ask you a question. I've seen Brady Brown a few times hanging around NTW. And, of course, I've seen that you've hung around WWA a few times. And, of course, APW. What's the personal beef there? What's the backstory? Because I know a lot of the people in WTP want to know about that.
Just like everyone else, Brady's no different. They see such a hot group and such an amazing advocate like myself, and they get jealous and they want to recreate what I've done. And so what do people like Brady do? They go team up with my enemy, like Ace Alexander. Someone, like I just stated, who we started off whooping his ass and taking tag team gold from. And he goes and teams up with him after him and I had sat down and broke bread together. Literally the next day, this man goes and teams up with Ace Alexander. And I don't play that. If you're going to go be friends with my enemies, you can't be friends with me. My enemy is my enemy, and my enemy's friend is my enemy. So myself and Oro, we're here for all the smoke.
And speaking of enemies, you said Ace Alexander. I've had quite a few guests on here already. Tex-Mex, Jason Bruce. I've had, of course, Ace just on the last episode, Chris Hill, just to name a few guys. It seems to.
So you've had a bunch of worthless people before finally the big money guests arrive. Outside of Chambers and Tiny, who else has been good on this show?
I mean, we've gotten quite a bit of views just from those guys I just named.
Their views don't compare to Chambers, don't compare to Tiny, and they sure as hell ain't gonna compare to the boss.
Man, so as I was saying there, We had Ace on here last. We've had a list of your quote unquote enemies. I know you saw the last episode with Ace. Is there any response to what he said about you possibly holding back him and his partner, Matthew? Being the boss, I think you'd have a better internet or something, man. You keep cutting off on me.
Don't you try to sabotage my interview. I don't know what you guys got cooked up, but this hack of a show that would have been better. This is why I should have been running it. But go ahead.
Nah, as I was saying before the interruption, Ace was on here, and he was talking about how you're holding him back, and
That's
obviously
probably why the connection. You're supposed to be talking about the boss, but you want to ask me about Ace. Go ahead.
But what's your response to that episode he had and where he was talking about you a little bit there?
Again, there's no need to respond to someone whose ass I've already kicked in 2 different states and all over Texas. Okay? At the end of the day, it's our ring, our world. Whether Ace wants to try to go off and be a part of that Timu version of us, then that's on him. But other than that, buddy, I have no response for Ace. If he wants a response, how about you go talk to Jay Knight? That's your response.
Man, such words from the boss right there. But before we wrap this up, boss, what's your plans for the next event that we got coming up in Game Changer on the 22nd of June?
No. Stay tuned and enjoy the ride the boss is taking you on.
All right. Well, boss man, where can they find you at to be able to, pick your brain or see what you're up to behind the scenes of NTW?
Look, don't look for the boss. Don't look for me. If you want to see someone, find the anime guru, Drew Gaffney. Find the hottest in the room, Dante Flame. Find Jay Knight, the loose cannon. You want to inquire about my brain? Look up that guy, Red Chambers. You want to learn more insight into me? Look up the ass kicker, Big J. You want to learn more about the boss? Say his name. Learn about Devion Black. That's all the inquiring you need. That talent alone speaks for itself on where my mind is.
Man. Well, I will say for him, if you want to find him, any of the content of NTW, go to NTW's Facebook page, YouTube channel, Instagram, and if you want to inquire about sponsorships and stuff, that's where you can find him. I'm assuming he'll want you to do that. Can you give me that much, boss?
I don't know. Legally, I can't say much. But what I can say is if you want a good show, you want to be entertained, come out on Sundays to NTW. There's no show that can compare to mine. Our kid audience is unmatched. And the difference between me and everyone else, kind of coming out of character here, but he said it. I would appreciate sponsors, but where I stand different than everyone else, I do this myself. I'm out of pocket myself. And I take care of my family and the boys. So if you want to come and be treated how talent should be treated, you want fans to be thoroughly entertained, have some real creative freedom to learn to grow as a performer and a wrestler, message me, the boss, Deshon Goode, not the character, the actual owner of the company, the boss. Shoot me a message. I'll find some dates. We're very storyline driven. As we close storylines, we'll bring you in. But there's no show that can compare to ours.
You heard it from the man himself. I will be posting all of his links to all the NTW, his personal one as well, if you want to get with him on all those things. I would say this was fun, but of course, I'm like Marshawn Lynch. I'm only doing this so I don't get sued. But until next time, guys, y'all stay safe. God bless, and make sure you hit up an NTW show if you are in the Dallas area. All the links are in the bio.
Our ring, our world, baby.
All righty. Peace.